Hello everyone, welcome to the fourth episode of this ESP32 series. Now after watching this full video, you'll come to know how you can create a Wi-Fi web server onto this ESP32 board. After that, you're also going to learn how you can send the HTML pages, or we can say simple text messages, to the connected clients with this Wi-Fi web server. After that, I will also let you know what is this DNS all about and what is this mDNS and how to use the mDNS onto this ESP32 board. And in the end, I will be making a simple home automation project in which I have created a web interface so that we can control home appliances which is connected with the ESP32 board from a smartphone, or we can say a laptop. So this is all you're going to learn after watching this full video. So let's get started. So let's just open up the Arduino. Okay, so here is the code written by me, or we can say edited by me. The code says home automation web server. So this is particularly edited version of the original code which is available into the files, examples, into what we can say Wi-Fi web server, into this hello server. So this was the original code and I have edited this particular code to make this home automation web server. So I will explain this home automation web server in detail, and I will be uploading this particular code on my GitHub account, and you can easily download it from the link available in the description of this video. So let's just start with this particular code. This particular code starts with the 4 necessary library declaration. First is Wi-Fi.h, second is Wi-Fi client.h, third is webserver.h, and fourth is ESP mDNS.h. First of the 3 are must be familiar with you all, because first of all, some of the functions like Wi-Fi.connect, Wi-Fi.begin, all the functions are available in this particular library. Then the Wi-Fi client related functions are available into this particular library. Wi-Fi server related functions are available into this library, and the mDNS, what is the mDNS, I will let you know, but the mDNS functions are stored into this particular library. So these all are the necessary library. Let me tell you one more thing. You can use the same code by writing just ESP3266 Wi-Fi.h, ESP3266 Wi-Fi client.h. Likewise, if you don't know what I'm talking about, kindly watch out the 3rd episode in which I have talked into detail about this particular technique of using the code of ESP32 into the ESP3266. Okay, so let's move ahead. We have the constant character which says SSID name and the password. So here you need to write the router's SSID name and password to which our ESP32 will get connected to it. Our ESP32 is acting as a Wi-Fi station. It is not acting as a Wi-Fi access point. That means we need to provide the SSID name and password to it. Now that router may not be connected to internet, but still it requires a central router to get connected to it, and all the other clients will also get connected to that particular router, and then only this particular project will work. Okay, so let's move ahead. We have a string called button. Now this particular string is nothing but a HTML page. I'll be talking about this particular HTML page, or how this HTML page looks like, further in the code where we are using this particular button HTML page. Okay, so let's just give it a pause right now. I will discuss it later on. Moving ahead, we have a web server class whose instance is declared as server, and it is opened at port 80. Okay, so this is particularly HTTP port number. HTTP port number is 80, and our server is established at that particular port only. Okay, so moving ahead, we have a constant integer LED which is not used in our project, so I will just remove it. Rather than I have used the inbuilt LED which is built in this particular ESP32 board. I am just turning on and off the LED using that web server. We'll discuss everything further. Moving ahead, we have a function called void handle root. Okay, so this particular function, okay, let's just discuss about this particular function here. This function includes this server instance, which is nothing but the instance of a web server class. What does this function do? Server.send. Now this function requires 3 inputs. First is the code, the HTTP code. Now I have discussed the HTTP code in the previous episode, which is episode 3 of this ESP32 series. So you can watch that video if you want to know what is this all codes about. Now I will clear what is this 200 code about. 200 code refers to a successful communication, in particular HTTP protocol. Okay, so 200 is a kind of a success code. So we need to send this code at the starting, at the first input is the success code, which is 200. If it's an error kind of code, then we will be sending 404, which we are sending here in this particular section. We'll discuss later. So first of all, the code we need to send, the HTTP code, which is 200 in this case. Then we need to specify what type of data we are sending. Okay, so that is defined in this second input. So in this case, we are sending the HTML page, and for HTML page we need to write text /HTML. If we are sending a simple plain text message, then the format should be text /plain. So this defines that we are sending a plain message, while this particular defines that we are sending a HTML page in the form of data. Okay, now the third input is the HTML page itself. So what we are doing on the handle root, what this handle root defines, let's just comment here so you can get a clear image what is this root about. Root is regarded as a home page of that server. For example, if in case our ESP32 has an IP address called 192.168.1.1 /, now this particular address is called the root of our ESP32 web server. Now this is not the IP address assigned to this ESP32. I'm just explaining you the simple example. If this was the IP address of the ESP32 board, then this /, now this page is called or is regarded as a root page of this web server. So whenever we are on the root page, what we need to do, that particular thing we need to define here. So what this code says, whenever we are on the root page, or we can say the home page, just send this particular HTML page to the client. Got it? So whenever we are opening this root page of ESP32 web server, we will be given a particular web page in a form of HTML. Okay, so this is what this handle root function all about. Moving ahead, we have handle not found. Now what this particular function says, see, we have requested the root page of the web server, which is for example 192.168.1.1. so that is a root page. Okay, and if we are writing /page1, now if that page 1 exists in the ESP32, then it will give the page 1. But if the page 1 doesn't exist in the Wi-Fi web server of the ESP32, then it is termed as not found. Okay, the page not found. That generally we have seen that error 404 says page not found. This is the particular error. If any particular handle or any particular link requested is not found on the web server, then what we need to do? Then we need to send this particular chunk of code, okay, which says first of all it will be printed as file not found, then it will be printing the URI. Now what it mean by URI? Let's just comment here. I will be explaining in very simple terms. For example, our IP address is 192.168.1.1. So whatever written after this / is regarded as URI. Okay, so let me type as page 1 /on. Okay, so this particular term is regarded as a URI. I have also opened that particular thing on the web browser. Okay, so here is the page not found error which I have requested in this particular ESP32 board, which says URI is lamp2/off. Okay, so this particular thing is regarded as a URI. Okay, and after that here it is printing as the method like get or post, but generally in this particular code I will be using the get request method only. So it is the get method and the argument. So this particular thing is or given response to the connected client if there is an error called page not found. Okay, so after that here we are sending the 404, which is the HTTP status code for page not found. Then we are sending a plain text message, and then we are sending the message itself. Okay, so this particular function is sending this particular page to the connected client. Okay, so this is all about the function called handle not found. Okay, moving ahead, we have the void setup. Void setup says, first of all, the LED built-in, which is the built-in LED of the ESP32 board. So we are regarding, or we are declaring it as output. Of course, we are using this LED as output, and we'll just remove this particular term because we are not at all using this LED. Okay, after that we are beginning the serial monitor at 11.5.2.00 baud rate. Pretty simple. Then Wi-Fi.mode function. Okay, Wi-Fi.mode function, we have three type of modes in the ESP32, or we can say the ESP32. First is the station mode, second is the access point mode, and third is a both mode. In this particular project, we are using it in a Wi-Fi station mode, in which ESP32, or we can say ESP32 will get connected to a particular router. Okay, so this is a station mode, and after that we are beginning the connection to that particular router whose SSID name and password are defined here. Okay, This is also pretty simple. After that, it says waiting for the connection, and after that it is establishing the connection, and it will print connected to that particular SSID name or particular router name. And after that, with the function called Wi-Fi.local IP, it will be printing the local IP address assigned to this particular ESP32 board. Now you all must be knowing. If you are not knowing, let me clear. Every device, every client connected to the router will be assigned a particular local IP address which is dynamic. Okay, so it is made possible that every time we get different IP address. Okay, so this is not compulsory that every time we're getting the same IP address, because it's kind of a dynamic IP address which is termed as a local IP address. Okay, so we will be getting the local IP address on the serial monitor as soon as it gets connected to that router. Moving ahead, we have if condition which says mDNS.begin ESP32. Now this is the point where I should explain the DNS. Okay, now what is this DNS all about? So DNS stands for domain name system. Now what is this domain name system? Let me explain you with a simple example. We all have used google.com. It's a great search engine and we are using it in day-to-day life. Let me clear some facts. Every website has its own server. Google has also its server, and every server is basically a computer, and every connected computer has its own IP address. Okay, and we're using that IP address, we are able to communicate to the particular computers, right? So this is one fact. Second fact is a computer works on number. They don't know what is google.com, they don't know what is facebook.com, rather they know the IP address of Google and Facebook, and if we provide them the IP address, then only they can communicate to their server. But we never provide IP address, right? So how they know where is Google and where is Facebook? Let me clear one fact. The IP address of google.com is this: 216.58.216.164. So if we are writing this particular IP address on our web browser, then also we will be getting this Google web page. Let's just test it out. I will press the enter, and as you can see, we are here with the google.com only, right? So if we write google.com or if we write the IP address, it is one and the same. And how it becomes the same? This is because of the domain name system. See, our human mind is likely to remember names rather than the numbers, while the computer remembers the number rather than the name. So there is a mediator in between called the domain name system. Now what this system do, whenever we are requesting a link, for example google.com, and if a computer don't know about this IP address, what the computer will do, the computer will send this google.com to a domain name system, and that system contains the domain name, and on the other side it contains its IP address also. So whenever a computer requests the google.com to domain name system, the domain name system returns the IP address to the computer, and then the computer requests that particular IP address, and we get the web page, or we can get the google.com. So this is the process. Once we have entered the google.com and our computer got the IP address, the computer, or we can say the web browser, stores that particular IP address in the cache memory. So next time if we are opening google.com, it won't be requesting to domain name system, rather than it will fetch the data from the cache memory, and we can get the google.com much faster as compared to what we have entered for the first time. Okay, so this is all about the domain name system. I hope you must be cleared about this domain name system, and if you want to know into detail about domain name system, I have attached one link in the description of this video which contains a detailed video about DNS. Okay, so this is all about the DNS or domain name system. Now what is this mDNS about, right? Here it is written as mDNS, right? Here mDNS.begin rather than DNS. Now mDNS stands for multicast domain name system. Now what's the difference? See, if I need to explain it very shortly, then it can be regarded as a light version of DNS. DNS requires a separate server which is called a name server, on which there are multiple domain names, and on the other side there is a IP addresses. So it requires a different server and other systems. Okay, it is a domain name system. It requires multiple things to do the task. mDNS doesn't require the name server, or it's kind of a standalone method to get this DNS working on the small chip like ESP32 or ESP8266. So what does mDNS do? mDNS makes a stack inside this ESP32 board, and in the stack we have IP address on the one side, and on the other side we have the name using which we can access the web server of this ESP32. Now that name we can decide on our own. Okay, so that name here is ESP32. So whatever we are writing under this inside this particular bracket is regarded as the name of that particular web server. If I write Sachin, then Sachin becomes the name of this Wi-Fi web server which is running on this ESP32 board. Okay, so with this it becomes very easy to interact, or it's very easy to know what this web server is all about. For example, we have two web servers running on two different ESP32 boards. One contains the data of motion sensor, one contains the data of temperature sensor. So if we want a temperature sensor, we don't need to remember the IP address of this particular board. Rather, we can assign a name called temperature, right? And now it's very easy to remember that on which server the temperature data is stored. Okay, but if it was IP address, then it will be very confusing for a human being to know on which IP address the temperature data is stored, on which IP address the motion data is stored. Rather, we can give a name like temperature to this web server and motion to this web server. Now it's very easy to fetch the temperature data and the motion data. I hope I am clear about how this mDNS is useful to us. Okay, so in this particular case we are giving the name as ESP32. So next time if we want to go inside the web server, we don't need to write its IP address, rather we need to write ESP32.local and / Okay, so this particular term is equivalent to writing the IP address. Okay, so .local is compulsory after writing the name of that web server. Okay, if it was Sachin, then the address will be Sachin.local to get inside the ESP32. Okay, so it's very simple now, it's really very easy, and mDNS is really very helpful to make a project using multiple ESP32 boards running with the different web servers. Okay, so this is all about mDNS. Let's move ahead. We have server.on. Now what does this function do? This function has two inputs. It can be regarded as one is a condition and second is a result. If we got / in response from the client, then we need to send the handle route. If we got /lamp1 /on from the client, we need to send this particular HTML page. So it's kind of a condition and the result. Okay, so whenever we got this /, this / means the root page, right? For example, if we are requesting ESP32.local /, then this particular function will get activated, and in response we'll be getting this handle route which we already discussed this. Okay, so we are just getting the HTML page in response whenever we are requesting this particular link. Got it? Moving ahead, server.on. So whenever we are requesting /lamp1 /on, then what we need to do, that we need to define here. So then we are sending simply a 200 response, which is a successful connection response. Then we are sending a text HTML page. And what is the HTML page? The HTML page is button itself. So every time we are sending the button HTML page only. How the button HTML page looks, let me show you. Okay, so here is the HTML page. I will simply copy this HTML page, and here is one website. I will attach the link in the description. So this is kind of an editor on which we can just paste that HTML page, and if I click on this run, I will be getting the web page or the HTML page which I have created using this particular code. So let's just click on the run. So this is a particular page which I have created, an HTML page which says the home automation web interface. Click on the respected button to switch the appliances. So we have lamp1 on and off, we have lamp2 on and off. So I have created this HTML page. So from where I have learned this HTML page? So I learned this HTML page from one website called Skillshare.com. Now this is an amazing website to learn anything, literally anything you can learn from this website. So what I did, I just went to this website, created my account and just wrote HTML, and in response I got so many classes for this particular HTML learning only. After that I can decide which classes I need to choose for learning. This class has more than 1357 students and it's of 3 hours and 10 minutes. So I just went to this particular class, and in this class I got different lectures which includes the introduction, let us pause it, which includes the introduction about HTML, editor, browser, everything. And what I just learned the basic. You can also skip the lectures, you can learn whatever you want to learn at this particular moment. So I just learned the basic HTML, and after that I just learned about the buttons and how to create the buttons. Okay, so this is tick mark. I learned about this particular things. So I just learned what is required for this particular project, because I need to shoot it as soon as possible to upload it in this particular week. So I just learned it, and after that I will be learning the full course, because it's really very useful. And it's not about HTML. From Skillshare you can learn everything. For example, if you want to learn how to create an Android application, then there are also classes. You can learn photography, you can learn videography, you can learn cooking, you can learn the drawing, paintings, anything. So just go for the Skillshare website. The link is available in the description of this video. This website is really cheap as compared to other learning platforms. It's like less than $10 per month. And hey, there's a good news for the viewers. First 500 people who will be clicking on the link available in the description below and registering on the website will get 2 months free subscription. Okay, so go ahead, click the link, register on this website, and you'll be getting a 2 month free. But this is limited to 500 people only. The first 500 will get this benefit. So go for this website to learn anything you like. Moving ahead to our project, we are at this particular position where we have created the HTML page, and this particular HTML page is pasted in the string called button. So every time we are sending this particular HTML page to a browser or to the client, that can be a mobile phone or a laptop. Okay, so whenever we get this particular response or this particular request from the client, we are sending this button. But what we are doing next is turning on the inbuilt LED, because we are getting this on request, we are turning on the LED. On the next function, we are getting the off request. So we are turning off the LED, and we are also sending this HTML page. So every time we get request from the server, we are just sending the HTML page, and after that we are doing the task. If it's for on, then we are turning on the LED. Or if it was for off, then we are turning off the LED. So this is kind of an automation project which can be made easily by simply installing a Wi-Fi web server program onto this ESP32 board. Let me clear the thing. This is a local area network base. So this will work only within the range of the router on which the ESP32 board is connected to. It won't work if we are trying to turn on and off appliances from a different country or a different area. It won't work. It will work only within the range of the router. Okay. So likewise, I have created a second page called lamp2, and if the lamp2 we are getting on request, then also I have turned this built-in LED high, because I'm not having another output on this particular board. Rather, I need to connect the LED on the external GPIO pin, but I don't have a breadboard right now, so I haven't attached anything. So what I'm doing is, if I'm getting this lamp2 and on request, then also I'm turning on the inbuilt LED, and if I'm getting lamp2 off request, then also I'm turning off the inbuilt LED. Likewise, you can create many buttons and many pages like lamp 3 on and off, fan 1 / on, fan 1 / off, and you can just turn on and off the respective appliances inside this function, and in the response you should send the web page, and you should increase the number of buttons here, so that we can get multiple options for fan, bulbs, etc. And you can learn how to create HTML page from the skillshare.com. That's also I told you. So I think this is all about the code. Where it is, okay, this is all about the code. And here the last function which says server on not found. Whenever we are not finding any page, for example, if I request lamp 3 / on, then there is no page of lamp 3. So what it will do, it will just send this handle not found function, which is nothing but this error message, the 404 error code will be sent, and the message will be sent called file not found. After that, we are just beginning the server, and in the monitor it will serial monitor will print HTTP server started, and the void loop, it is just handling the client. Nothing else is done on the void loop. So this is all about the home automation web server code. Let's just select the board, upload it onto the ESP32 board, and let's see everything in action. So I will click on this upload button. I'll press and hold this boot button. If you don't know what's the reason of pressing this boot button, kindly watch out the first episode of this series. Okay, it's done uploading. It will open the serial monitor and press this reset button. Okay, so it is connected to my router, which is SMS. It's got its own local IP address, but we don't need to remember thanks to mDNS. So mDNS says responder started, so mDNS is working perfectly and the server is also started. So we'll move to Google Chrome. Make sure your device is connected to that same network on which the ESP32 is connected. We'll go to the new tab and we'll just type ESP32.local. Okay, on requesting this particular link, we will be getting a web page or HTML page in response. Okay, so we successfully got the same HTML page which we have seen here. Okay, the same HTML page we are getting in response. Okay, so if I click on this on button, the light will turn on. Let me just zoom it in. Okay, now I think it's visible. I'll click on this on button and yeah, as you can see, the LED turned on, and as soon as I click on this off button, the LED turns off, on and off. And the same happens if I click on the lamp to on, because I have given the same command on this lamp to function only also. Okay, on and off, on and off. And as soon as you are clicking on and off, as you can see, the link here is changing. Okay, let's just click on this lamp on. So the link turns to be /lamp on /lamp one /on. If I if I click on this lamp one off, the link changes to okay /lamp one /off. So everything is perfectly working as per the code we have written. Let me just zoom it out. Okay, so this particular web server is perfectly working on this ESP32 board. So this kind of an amazing project. I mean, you can make your own home automation system using this ESP32 board. You just need to attach the relay, and on the relay we can connect the different appliances and give it a name on this web page, or we can say the HTML page. And likewise, we can control from laptop, or we can even control using our smartphone. You can even make an application, and if you want to know how to make an application, you can directly jump to the skillshare.com and you can just type to learn how to make an app. Okay, so yeah, this is all about this video. I hope you got idea on how this web server works, what is this DNS, what is this mDNS, and how you can control appliances, or how you can make HTML pages and everything. I hope you found something interesting or something different from this video. And yeah, this is it about the episode 4 of this ESP32 series. Subscribe my channel if you want to learn more about ESP32 board and also the projects on IoT, automation and electronics. Wait for my next project, and then explore, learn, share with me, techiesms.